You can paint this dragon in Procreate, and all you need are the default brushes and effects already in Procreate. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Haley and I like to share Procreate tutorials for beginners or people that just like to try something new in Procreate. And today I'm going to show you how to paint a dragon in Procreate using only the default brushes and default effects that are already built into Procreate. You can paint really pretty and painterly style projects in Procreate using just the brushes that they have available already built into the program. And you don't have to spend any extra money to make something that you're proud of. I'm going to guide you step by step through each process of sketching and painting and doing the finishing touches. If you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also hit that like button. It helps out my channel and helps other people find my videos, so I greatly appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on painting this really cool dragon. We are starting with a blank canvas that is 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels, and it is set to 300 dpi. So to start, I'm going to show you a really easy way to sketch out your drawing, trying to plan out spatially where you want your dragon to go. So I'm going to start off with a black color and the Narinder pencil. That's my favorite sketching pencil. That is just a default. So I'm just beginning on my first layer, and I'm just going to start off with a circle. And when I put my finger down, it automatically creates a perfect circle for me. And I'm going to make sure that it is centered. And that orange line indicates that it is centered for me. So now spatially, I want his head to go here, and then he's going to have a wing that goes about here, and then legs that go about here, and a leg that goes about here, and a tail that goes about here. So spatially, that's where I want my dragon to be. I'm going to go through and fill in the actual details of my sketch so that when I add my digital paints to it, I have more of a guide on how I want this to look, because that's not quite enough. I'm going to go through and be more precise with my sketch. Okay, so there's my basic sketch for my dragon. It's not totally basic. I still have quite a few details that I was able to sketch into there, but this is the dragon that I'm going for. And we are wanting to give him a more painterly or hand-painted look to him. We are kind of wanting to recreate the gouache style of painting, but with only the brushes that Procreate has. And they only have one gouache style brush, but we can still kind of recreate that painterly look with just a few more of the default brushes in Procreate. And my favorite brush to paint with is actually in the inking tab, and it is the dry ink brush. It has a very rough edge, and I feel it does give kind of like a hand-painted look when it's applied to the canvas. And I'm going to create a new layer above my sketch layer, and I'm going to choose a green from this color palette that I created, and I'm going to start with this green color here. If you would like the exact color palette that I use, go ahead and comment below and I can share that with you. So now that I have my dry ink brush selected, I'm going to start painting in my dragon. So now I'm going to go to this darker green color, and I do actually want to have this next layer above this green so that I can get the details of his face and other dark spots that I want above that first green color. I do want to turn down the opacity so I can see some of those details. Now I'm going to do a bottom more layer of color, or a back layer of color. Bottom more, back more, farther back, lower. I am going to put a layer on the bottom of my colorful layers that I've made so far and add some more of this darker green. So you'll see that I added this big bit of green down here, and I wanted the darker half of the dragon to kind of blend in with the rock that he's sitting on, and so that'll be more apparent when we add more layers above it, but that's what I was trying to achieve there, if that looks a little confusing. But I am next going to add a new layer and choose this more yellow color. So this layer is going to go below the green layer, but above the darkest green layer, and I'm going to start filling in these other sections of the dragon. And to do some of the details on his face, I am going to add a layer above all of the layers that I've made so far. So now I'm going to start filling in some of the details of the background. Okay, so now we have a basic flat painting of our dragon, and it doesn't look very painterly. It's still a pretty cool looking dragon, but he needs a lot more detail to sort of make some sense. So I'll focus first from my topmost layer and then go down. And so I'm gonna add some color using the alpha lock. So I'm gonna turn on alpha lock, and I'm gonna stay in this dry ink brush so that I maintain the texture that I want. Start off with this white color. It's kind of a creamy white. With alpha lock still turned on, I'm going to go to the Gaussian blur and then kind of blur those colors together. It still maintains the graininess of your brush because they're kind of a bunch of transparent holes. And so when you have the alpha lock turned on, it's not going to blend those together. It blends in according to the bounds of what you've painted. We can move on to the next layer, and that's this darker, more green layer. And again, I will turn on alpha lock, and I will grab the lighter green and kind of just add some highlight here and there. With that alpha lock on, we'll go to that Gaussian blur and blur those together. You kind of just take it not too far, but far enough that it makes a bit of a difference. Kind of blends those colors together. I want to go to the yellow layer here, turn on the alpha lock and go back to the white. Okay, and now it's ready for the Gaussian blur, and then blend that together. Now it's blending these colors in a way that you don't have to blend them yourself. It does the work for you. So this is great for beginners. If you're not excellent at blending colors together, this is a great method to do that. And now we'll go to the next layer and turn on the alpha lock and get the lighter green. So we're working on a layer that is all of this dark green. So we are going to add some light green to it to blend. And now we'll just go into the background and give it that same treatment with just the mountains. And I want to choose this more khaki yellow here, and I'll turn on that alpha lock. About 18% is where I want to go on that one. And then the background, turn on that alpha lock, and I'll get the white. Okay, so this dragon is ready for some details. So he is needing a bit of work. He's missing a horn, so let's go ahead and do his horn. It's just going to get that same treatment of this dark green alpha lock, add the light green. Doesn't even matter what that part looks like because we're just going to blend it together. So I want to focus a little bit on his underbelly. So I'm going to add a layer above that and turn on a clipping mask and grab that same yellow that I used originally, but I'm going to turn this down to multiply. In that dry ink brush still, I'm going to add his little belly lines. Now I want to add some details to the green portion of him, and I will be turning on a clipping mask, and I want to try to start off with this original green, switch the blending mode to overlay, and just kind of give him some scales. And I'm liking what it looks a little bit better without the green, so I'm just going to delete that layer. I'm just going to keep the white and the yellow scales that I just did. But I will add a new layer, and it will go below those first scales. I'm going to grab this dark green, and I want to add some grain, so I will be trying out the spray paints, and I want to use the flicks and just kind of give it a little bit of roughness here. And anywhere there's kind of like a rounding, we're going to add the flicks. With the dry ink brush again, I'll go back to the inking tab and then pick up my dry ink brush again, and then pick up this white. Just going to add another layer, and I will go ahead and turn on a clipping mask because I want to give him some like nails and a little bit of brightness. I'm going to add a new layer, and I want to add more of this white. So I'm going to put this to a layer that is right above my background, but behind all of my other layers of my dragon. And I want to bring some of this outlining in between these other layers. So I will need to kind of intertwine this lining with these other layers. So I will go above this green line layer and just start adding some of the white lining that I want. And then I will go behind this portion and add it here. I'm going to go back to that first layer and add quite a bit in between these layers here. Add a little bit of green to this rock just to indicate that it's a rock and it's got some texture to it. Add a background color. I'm going to just choose this kind of slate gray here, and I'm going to turn off the sketch. But now I want to get some drop off and some fading in these background spots. And to do that, I'm going to go to my eraser, and I'm going to go back to the spray paints and then grab that flicks again. And I'm going to start off with the backmost layer being this circular frame, and just kind of start erasing some of this. And now I'm going to go to the mountains and kind of do the same. So back to the eraser and just erase some of this so that it blends in. So now I have my rock selected and my eraser set to flicks, and I'm just going to get rid of some of it. So here is my dragon all completed. He's got a very, very hand-painted look to him, which is what I was going for. So I hope this inspired you to explore Procreate and gain some confidence with the program and not feel like you have to spend extra money to use it to its fullest. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos like this one, hit that subscribe. I will see you next time with another fun Procreate tutorial. Bye!